And a very warm welcome to Wellbeing Mission Control. It's a fresh week of wellbeing opportunities. And one of the issues that's been popping up in the inquiries is this question of how do we really gain better control over our minds, over our thoughts and feelings? How can we better direct the stream of consciousness, that flow of thoughts and feelings that dominate every moment? Learning to tame that little voice in your head that's constantly running a commentary. Well, one of the ideas that's been around, I must admit, for thousands of years, is a very simple suggestion that we stop reacting. Don't react. It's much easier said than done. But the fact is, most of us are conditioned, from early childhood as usual, to respond with automatic reactions. We're running on automatic pilot. We act and feel and behave according to a set of programs, as if in some way those reactions are inevitable, as if at a very deep level those reactions represent who we really are, but they don't. They're just layers of conditioned behavior that have been crafted and designed, not always intentionally, to control our behavior, to make us who we think we are. But the fact is, once you stop reacting, a different dynamic begins to apply. Let me make a suggestion. Everything that you experience, everything that goes on in your life produces a reaction. But the reality is that you are the one who is adding meaning to everything that happens. The events are just events, but we are trained and conditioned to add meaning. And once you begin to evaluate how that simple dynamic is affecting every aspect of your life, you realize that your version of reality, your reactions, your behavior, are deeply conditioned by this instinctive, conditioned drive to add meaning. And if you can learn to stop for a moment and say, well, what does that mean? What does it mean when we're trying to understand the world and create a clear interpretation? Well, the fact is, you are adding the meaning, whatever it is. Those events take place without your interpretation. They exist outside of the realm of your personal drive to add a layer of interpretation. Once you stop adding the meaning, everything looks different. It takes a little practice because we spent our whole lives learning how to add color, shape, and texture to every experience. So it can feel a little unsettling when you break free from this habit. Because I promise you, the world will look like a very different place once you're able to disengage the habit of adding your own personal interpretation to every event. The key is to learn not to react. When you start to question, well, what does it mean? Because I now have a choice about what meaning I wish to attach to whatever's happening. And at a deeper level, I can decide not to add any meaning. This is just as it is. It might sound like a very strange suggestion, but I can assure you, once you get used to separating yourself from this conditioned behavior, you're going to be in a position to choose much more easily how you think, how you feel, how you behave. You're regaining control despite all the layers of conditioned behavior that are driving the way that you behave right now. You'll be in a position to decide, to choose how you want to feel, how you want to think, how you want to behave. It is a step towards personal freedom that isn't really focused on very much in our society. But it's one of those enduring lessons that each of us really should consider as one of the most appropriate steps we can take in order to get closer to the sense of complete personal fulfillment, away from the masks and the roles you play, discovering perhaps a little more of who you really are. Now, I'd love to know what you think about this. I want to thank you for sharing your thoughts and ideas and suggestions with me. Feel free to keep the dialogue going. It's a beautiful day here, and allow me to wish you the most wonderful week, and I'll be back for you again very soon.